Midday, I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL's top story. We are learning about a deadly shooting involving an ICE agent. It was out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. ABC News reports a woman was inside a car when it happened. A spokesperson with the Department of Homeland Security says that she was attempting to run over ICE agents as they pushed their car out of a snowbank. She was shot in the head and died on the scene. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara spoke just moments ago.
Preliminary information that we have indicates that this woman was in her vehicle and was blocking the roadway on Portland Avenue, midway between 33rd Street and 34th Street in the city. At some point, a federal law enforcement officer approached her on foot, and the vehicle began to drive off. At least 2 shots were fired. The vehicle then crashed on the side of the roadway. Minneapolis police officers secured the crime scene and assisted in trying to preserve the evidence that is there. We have since turned over the scene both to the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which will be conducting an investigation into this use of deadly force.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says that she was not targeting the agents, and ICE needed to leave the city immediately. An investigation into the incident is underway, and we will continue to provide updates throughout the day. Utah leaders are pushing for a bigger shift in how phones are handled in schools, not just during class, but all day. They are calling it bell-to-bell phone limits. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera explains what's being proposed and why parents are a key part of this conversation. Eric?
Maria, this proposal would make phone-free school days the default across Utah, from the first bell to the last. Governor Spencer Cox says the goal is to take pressure off teachers and put responsibility back on adults.
It's not the school's problem. It's our problem. I'm the bad guy. He's the bad guy. And let us be the bad guys, and that's okay. And the teachers get to say, hey, I'm sorry. If it was up to me, I would let you all have your phones, but it's not up to me.
The announcement comes as lawmakers move to expand a law passed last year that limited phone use during class. Districts say that change alone led to calmer classrooms and fewer distractions. For parents wondering about safety, state leaders stress that doesn't change. Schools would still be able to contact families quickly during emergencies, and students could access phones if there's a legitimate need. Supporters say bell-to-bell limits aren't about punishment. They're about helping kids focus, engage, and actually connect with each other during the school day. At the Capitol, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
First Lady Abby Cox is also encouraging parents to put down devices. Abby and Governor Spencer Cox held a literacy symposium in Ogden this week to teach parents and educators practical ways to help kids improve their reading skills. Abby tells Inside Sources parents are setting a bad example.
We saw from pediatricians telling us there is this disconnect. Many parents, as they're feeding their newborn baby, are scrolling on their phones instead of making those critical connections and eye contact with that child. And that is where literacy starts. It starts in those early moments with that baby.
This comes after the Kempsey Gardner Institute released new numbers showing kindergarten through 3rd graders are struggling with reading. The new $41 million City Hall and Library in Saratoga Springs is now open. Construction started back in early 2024. It's 4 stories tall with office space and public meeting rooms. It was built with the city's growth in mind at 4 times the capacity of the original building. The Egyptian Theater will not be hosting any movie premieres for the final year of Sundance's Park City residency. Manager and theater director Randy Barton says the decision was mutual and it was not made because of any bad blood.
There's no animosity. It was a joint decision. We've always been a live performance theater. The only time of the year we do film is Sundance.
He says when they were informed that the festival was wrapping up their residency in Park City, the theater began renovations to return to a purely live theater. Barton says they will still have many events during the festival, just no film premieres. KSL's top national stories. The White House says the U.S. will control 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil and oversee where the money from the sale of those barrels go. Trump administration says it's part of a deal struck with the interim Venezuelan government. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the U.S. will ease up on sanctions as well to allow for the sale of the oil.
The interim authorities have agreed to release that oil to the United States, so it will be arriving here at home very soon. The United States government has already begun marketing Venezuelan crude oil in the global marketplace for the benefit of the United States, engage the world's leading commodity marketers, key banks to execute and provide financial support.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it's important to work with the country, and they've been in talks since the U.S. captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife.
Step one is the stabilization of the country. We don't want it descending into chaos. Part of that stabilization, and the reason why we understand and believe that we have the strongest leverage possible, is our quarantine. As you've seen today, 2 more ships were seized.
Those ships were taken out of the North Atlantic and the Caribbean. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. We do have an accident in Davis County, southbound I-15, 650 North Clearfield, blocking a right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early, so they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Did you know bad bacteria causes cavities and tooth decay? Did you know bad bacteria feed off residue left by sugary foods and drinks? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters.
Be sure to brush 2 times daily for at least 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste.
Floss once a day and limit sugary foods and drinks like sweetened juices, candies, and sodas.
Even sugar-free carbonated drinks can be harmful to teeth. Be sure to visit your dentist for regular checkups and cleanings. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message is brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life. Learn more at yoursmileutah.org.
Because your smile matters.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. A woman is dead in Minneapolis after police say an ICE agent shot and killed her in her car. KSL News Time, 12:08. Utah Grizzlies is teaming up with the small Salt Lake City bookshop. Lovebound Library is a romance-only bookstore and will be selling discounted tickets for the Grizzlies game at the end of the month. It might sound like a strange partnership, but it comes as the subcategory of hockey romance books increases in popularity. Right now, in particular, it's fueled by the HBO Max adaptation of romance series Heated Rivalry. Utah's breweries say the trend for people to participate in Dry January takes a toll on their business. KSL News Radio's McKenna Rodriguez has more.
Stephanie Biesacker with Utah Brewers Guild says this is something they expect every January. And while breweries do offer non-alcoholic options, people often avoid going into them altogether if they want to abstain from alcohol for the month.
A lot of our regulars that would just normally stop in for a beer or to hang out with their friends or for a game night or live music, they tend to stay home, and our patronage drops a ton.
But the Brewers Guild does try to combat the loss of business they experience, even creating a campaign called Pour Love into Local, which encourages people to support local breweries and remind them of their non-alcoholic options. McKenna Rodriguez, KSL News Radio.
2 of the 5 downtown eateries and bars damaged in a grease fire last summer are preparing for an early 2026 opening. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Owners of the White Horse say they plan to reopen this month. The bar is posting updates on their social media accounts showing their work restoring and redecorating the interior, cleaning up, and last week announcing a January opening date is very possible. The website says they're currently working on rebuilding their whiskey collection and salvaging historic items, proudly proclaiming the White Horse will ride again. The restaurant Eva was burned in the same fire but had more severe damage. The website shows they're currently hiring staff and have plans to reopen soon. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. People helping people. Love where you bank. And here's Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've had an accident southbound on I-15 going from Roy to Clearfield at about 650 north. At one point, it had been blocking a right lane of traffic and caused some delays. That backup is now starting to clear out as the crash has been moved out of traffic to the shoulder. Then in Box Elder County, we still have this accident. It's at the on-ramp to southbound I-15 at the Highway 89-91 junction. That's about 1100 South, Brigham City. All vehicles involved look to be over to the right shoulder, and I'm not seeing cars having any problem getting around, accessing that on-ramp to get to the southbound I-15 freeway. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
As we wait on our next storm today, look for a high of 48 degrees, increasing clouds by this afternoon, and a chance for showers by evening. Overnight, we drop off to 32 with snow showers increasing. I got 36 for a high on Thursday, snow showers likely. Friday, maybe an AM flurry, 33 the high Friday afternoon with partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy, 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, and still to come on Midday with Maria Shilaos. We'll talk with the cybersecurity expert on new Roblox security measures and what it means for the safety of children. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer and compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
Let's go!
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Movie Show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday, January 9th from 11 to 1. Join KSL News Radio and Minky Couture and get special discounts and savings on your favorite Minky Couture products. Looking for something beautiful and cozy to add to your home these cold winter days? Minky Couture is the answer. Cozy, soft, a color for every room in your home, and always the best blanket ever with Minky Couture. The Minky Couture Valentine's Day collection is here. If you're a Minky Couture collector, you'll not want to miss out on this year's limited edition blankets. They're the perfect way to say I love you. Get yours today before they're gone. Save 55% this Friday only. For the Movie Show in Layton, use code MOVIE55 at minkycouture.com or at any of the 6 Minky locations. Again, join us this Friday at Minky Couture in Layton, 1782 Woodland Park Drive. They've got you covered this winter season at Minky Couture, home of the best gift ever. minkycouture.com. That's minkycouture.com.
KSL News Time 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
UDOT is now asking people to chime in on their proposal to build a brand new freeway in the Heber Valley. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Utah lawmakers are planning to introduce new legislation to restrict technology and kids' screen time in schools for the first bell to the last. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
All right, lane blocked with a disabled vehicle in Tooele County eastbound I-80 about a mile after the Lake Point exit. It is causing some backups, but you can get by. And a KSL texter giving us a heads up. Light rain falling along I-15 in the Ogden area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Another mild one on tap, but clouds and showers increase this evening. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Minnesota, immigration operations in Minneapolis turning deadly today. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirming an ICE officer was involved in a shooting of a woman after a rioter, she says, allegedly attempted to ram her vehicle into an ICE agent. Noem called it domestic terrorism.
They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry at a briefing moments ago says the victim was a 37-year-old woman and angrily pushed back on DHS claims that ICE acted in self-defense, saying he saw the video of the shooting.
What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people.
Fry called for a full investigation. The U.S. military seized 2 tankers today in international waters accused of illegally transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela. State Secretary Marco Rubio confirming the U.S. will sell Venezuela's oil on an open market. In California, Nick Reiner charged in the stabbing murders of his parents. Director Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer appeared in court today. He was expected to enter a plea but did not after his defense attorney withdrew from the case. ABC's Alex Stone is outside the courthouse in Los Angeles.
Alan Jackson withdrawing from the case, now under a protective order. He can't speak about it. We don't know the reasoning behind it. That is all sealed, but he is no longer Nick Reiner's attorney. Everything has been put on hold until February 23rd at this point. No plea was entered today. Everything is now on hold.
U.S. employers posted far fewer jobs in November compared to the previous month. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The gaming platform Roblox just announced new safety guidelines. Users will now be required to scan their face to use the chat feature. Brandon Amaker, director of the Emerging Tech Policy Lab at Utah Valley University, now joins me live. And Brandon, this is not a step that is without controversy. So what are some of the concerns with facial recognition?
Yeah, so I think writ large, it's probably a step in the right direction. Roblox has seen a lot of controversy over the last year or so because of a lot of inappropriate content and chats and alleged grooming that young people were being subjected to. The problem, I think, with this type of thing, there's a couple of concerns associated with it. One is that age gating is not necessarily a foolproof solution. You're still going to have adults interacting with other children. There's still a chance of inappropriate chats being taken offline onto third-party apps like Discord or Snapchat. And additionally, now there is the concern of these platforms actually having facial biometric data for children that they are scanning, storing, and that could potentially be breached in some kind of a cyber incident.
Yeah, when I first heard this, I thought, well, like our phone does that. You do that when you go to the airport, but it's a different deal when you're talking about storing the information of children, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that biometric information is obviously something that's extremely sensitive. There's ways that information can be stored securely. It's very difficult to know what kind of safeguards the company has in place without them, explicitly saying so. And the other thing is that when it is done with minors, that adds an additional layer of complexity and legal kind of barriers on top of that.
You mentioned it's a step in the right direction. I'm assuming that means that more should be done.
We'll have to kind of see how it all plays out. I mean, I think one of the issues here is that it seems like the problems became very, very prolific on this platform, that there was a lot of undesirable activity going on. And when you get to a certain point of kind of saturation of this type of activity on a platform, at times it can be difficult to claw that back, even with very, very extensive safeguards. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how it goes, but this is not something that's foolproof. You'll probably still see activity happening, but the bad actors who are, very, very prolific on this platform are going to find ways around these things. So it'll be a wait and see situation.
Yeah, it's really tough with the ever-evolving technology. You fix one thing and then you've got another problem to deal with.
Absolutely. And I think it kind of illustrates the importance of thinking of safety not as an afterthought, especially on platforms like this that, children spend a lot of time and attention on, that when you're reactive in your security policy, oftentimes you're going to try to end up putting out fires in 7 different places all at once. If you kind of lead with a security mindset and understand that no matter what you do, people are going to try to abuse this platform. So how do we try to minimize the amount that they can at the outset? That can be much more effective than realizing you have a problem and then having to react in a very aggressive way afterwards.
Brandon, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me.
Of course. Thank you.
That is Brandon Amaker. He's the director of the Emerging Tech Policy Lab at Utah Valley University. Let's get you up to date now on the drive, traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU, 4 new Salt Lake branches to love where you bank. And here's Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Looks like crews have been able to get this disabled vehicle moved out of traffic eastbound I-80 in Tooele County about a mile after Lake Point. It had been blocking a right lane, leaving only one lane open for all traffic to get through. And with that clearance, it looks like the little bit of backup it caused is also gone. We also have the final cleanup of a small accident. It's been there for a while, but this is on the right shoulder at the on-ramp to southbound I-15 at the Highway 8991 junction in Brigham City. If you're trying to get to I-15 in Box Elder County, you're not going to see that it's causing any problem. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo, the 16th through the 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. Calling for a high of 48 today. We've got rain showers by evening. 36 tomorrow, snow showers. Friday, partly cloudy, 33, cold and dry. High pressure builds back. Look for a high of 37 on Saturday. Sunday, 39, haze likely. More hazy skies, inverted conditions. Temperatures in the upper 30s on Monday and Tuesday of next week. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And mostly cloudy, 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. Looks like the Dow is taking a beating today because bank stocks are getting hammered. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early, so they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Watching Utah's Money, Nestle is recalling several batches of baby formula over bacteria concerns. Company says there have been no sicknesses reported, but out of caution is pulling all the possibly contaminated batches. Shares fell after the news. BlueScope Steel thinks it's worth more than what buyers are offering. Reuters reports the Australian company rejected a $9 billion bid from some U.S. steel companies, accusing them of trying to buy it on the cheap. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 330 points, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 49,132. S&P down by 4 points. The NASDAQ, though, it's up by 94.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. People helping people love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
If you're traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways, you're going to see a nice and quiet drive. No accidents or delays. In fact, good speeds up and down the I-15 corridor between Ogden and Provo. It's the clearing of an accident that we're still waiting on in Box Elder County. It's at the on-ramp to southbound I-15 at the Highway 89-91 junction in Brigham City. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, look for highs to top out around 48 degrees. Another January day with highs topping 10 above the normal. Increasing clouds this afternoon with showers potentially by this evening. Snow showers likely in the overnight and through tomorrow, high of 36. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy. Looks like it could rain at any time. 46 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this hour. UDOT is now asking for the public to chime in on a proposal to build a brand new freeway in the Heber Valley. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
UDOT's been studying the traffic and talking with people in the area for years, and today they're now saying they believe the best path forward is to build a freeway west of Highway 40 from about River Road down to the US 189 junction. Project manager Craig Hancock tells me the main goal behind this is to give people a faster way through the valley and free up Heber's Main Street.
We see a lot of congestion on Main Street, and because of the growth in the area, it's we know that it's only going to continue to get worse.
Hancock also says doing this will allow Main Street to become more walkable and make it safer. UDOT will be taking public comments on the proposal starting Friday, but this is just one of the first steps in the process. Hancock says they'll have another public comment period later this summer before they issue their final decision on the project. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Construction projects will be affecting traffic in Davis and Utah County this week. I-15 will be shut down in Farmington and Centerville on Friday night. Crews are working on the pedestrian bridge near Station Park around 9 p.m. Now, it's part of a larger project to add a new interchange on the border of Farmington and Kaysville. In Provo Canyon, crews will be closing the road during the 10 o'clock hour all week for avalanche mitigation. Electricity companies are working to come up with a solution for increased power usage driven by AI data centers. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Some companies are warning data centers get a backup power source or be ready for a blackout. The Wall Street Journal reports the rising demand is threatening the power grid, and these companies are prepared to cut off the data centers to keep lights in neighborhoods working. Over the past few years, power companies have expressed worry about increased power usage and say to power these centers the way they need, it'll take years to build transmission lines and power plants. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
The number of people suffering from respiratory illnesses is up across the U.S. That's according to the Utah Department of Health, and according to the Utah Department of Health, we are not the exception.
About 4% of all outpatient visits are for influenza-like illness. That's considered a very high rate, or a high rate rather. But what is a little bit more alarming is that the hospitalization rate across the state is quite high at 8.42 hospitalizations per 100,000 population.
Dr. Andrew Pavia with University of Utah Health says even though those numbers are high, hospitals and clinics are not being overwhelmed because of the number of RSV cases, and those numbers are lower than usual this year. A new award is set to be given to whichever Utah health organization goes above and beyond for the community. It will be called the 2026 Select Health Awards, and it will give $5,000 to 10 Utah organizations that are deemed the winners. Applications are open now through February 28th or until 200 submissions are received. KSL's top national stories. A 37-year-old woman is dead in Minneapolis after police say she was shot in the head by an ICE agent. Department of Homeland Security says it was an act of self-defense, claiming the woman was trying to drive into ICE agents. Mayor Jacob Fry says that's not true.
This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
It's sparking some major issues in the city where ICE agents have recently ramped up enforcement. We'll continue to follow this story and provide updates throughout the afternoon. Other national stories KSL is following. House Speaker Mike Johnson says talk of a U.S. takeover or purchase of Greenland shouldn't be taken seriously. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
Even as the White House says a military takeover of Greenland is an option, the House Speaker throws cold water on the notion.
Does that mean we're going to go send troops into Greenland and take it over? No. I mean, they only have, 50,000 people there. This is not a thing.
Mike Johnson confirms in a closed-door briefing with top lawmakers, Secretary of State Marco Rubio did suggest the U.S. could buy Greenland, but
I think he did it with a smile. He was trying. I took that as a joke. He was trying to be humorous about it.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Utah Representative Blake Moore says in no way should the U.S. be talking about taking any military action against Greenland.
This has been something that's going to be in his bonnet since the first term, and I think it's just sometimes very important to make a clear statement. We should not be taking any type of military action, and even those that have floated it within the administration, that's not the option we should be pursuing.
Moore tells Utah's Morning News the U.S. and Greenland already have a great working relationship when it comes to defending the Arctic region from Russia's growing threats. And the U.S. works closely with Greenland and Denmark to share intelligence, which will be crucial moving forward. First Look Traffic, what's going on, Ricky?
We have a report of an accident at Foothill Drive, Sunnyside Avenue. It may already be moved out of traffic. I'm seeing vehicles get through that intersection without a problem. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. UDOT is asking people to chime in on their proposal to build a brand new freeway in the Heber Valley. KSL News Time, 12:37. Avalanche forecasters are urging people to be extra careful in the backcountry with all the new snow that's fallen. Utah Avalanche Center forecaster Craig Gordon says if you plan to head out anytime this week, avoid any slope 30 degrees or steeper.
Those weak layers are going to take some time to adjust. If we exercise some patience, we know it's a long winter here in Utah. There's going to be plenty of time to go out and tag some bigger lines.
Gordon says they've already seen some avalanches strong enough to snap trees and some that would be unsurvivable if a person got caught in one. He says the danger right now is considerable and it's expected to stay that way for the next several days. The Great Salt Lake ended the 2025 water year at its third lowest level ever, but the team tasked with monitoring the lake says that we're making great progress.
Great Salt Lake Commissioner Brian Steed and the Great Salt Lake Strike Team put together a new analysis for the legislature. It found the lake was just over 4,191 feet at the end of September, or the third lowest it's been since modern record keeping began in 1903. The report estimates we need an additional 800,000 acre feet of water, or about 261 billion gallons not currently flowing into the lake every year to reach a healthy lake level within 20 years. It recommends a multi-sector approach to conserve water to keep making progress, especially if climate change creates more evaporation. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
A man could be facing multiple felony charges after a road rage incident in Provo. Details from KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
Police say Hamilton Tabanico was out on parole from the Utah State Prison following convictions for robbery and aggravated assault when he and another driver got into an argument. Witnesses tell police during the argument, Tabanico pulled out a gun, and as the other driver was trying to get away, Tabanico fired a shot at the fleeing car. Police say they found a gun in the car Tabanico was driving when they arrested him.
The probable cause statement says because the shooting was part of a road rage and Tabanico is a habitual violent offender, if he's convicted, he will face enhanced penalties. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. 4 new Salt Lake branches to love where you bank. And here's Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We did have a report of a disabled vehicle in Midvale at the off-ramp, southbound I-15 at 7200 South. At one point, it had been in the center lane. I'm looking through the area. It looks like it's been moved completely out of traffic and is no longer a factor for drivers on I-15 trying to exit at 7200 South. In fact, we have a nice and quiet drive on all the Valley freeways at this time with good speeds and no accidents. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
As a storm system moves towards Utah today, I've got a high of 48 degrees. Rain showers likely by evening, and then snow in the overnight. 36 will be the high Thursday with more snow showers. Things dry out Friday, cold with a high of 33. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And mostly cloudy, 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up, we'll hear more from the press conference concerning a shooting in Minneapolis involving an ICE agent. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Every January, Duke's Jewelers celebrates another year serving the Springville community. And this year, they're doing it in a big way. It's the anniversary sale. And for 3 days only, January 22nd through 24th, all jewelry in the store is 50% off. That's right, half off everything in the case. Diamonds, gold, colored gemstones, signature pieces, everyday favorites. If it sparkles, it's on sale. And that's not all. For those dreaming up something one of a kind, special orders, custom design projects, and all watches are 25% off. Duke's Jewelers is proud to be a 4th-generation family-run business, and this sale is the Duke's way of saying thank you for supporting local, choosing Main Street, and trusting Duke's Jewelers with your most meaningful moments. But don't wait. These savings last just 3 days. January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville and shop the biggest sale of the entire year. Duke's Jewelers. Elevate every moment. Some exclusions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer in compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. Don't miss Cold's new Season 3, where I look into the unsolved disappearance of Cherie Warren, a woman last seen leaving her job at a Salt Lake City office in 1985. Police cast suspicion on Cherie's estranged husband and boyfriend, but never made any arrests or recovered Cherie's remains. Find Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, anywhere you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah leaders are proposing statewide bell-to-bell phone limits in schools, aiming to cut distractions, support teachers, and create more focused learning environments while preserving flexibility for emergencies. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, a woman is dead in Minneapolis after police say an ICE agent shot her in the head. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
You're good to go if you're traveling any of the Valley freeways. We do have a little bit of buildup, and this busy, slow traffic is eastbound on 114th South, approaching 7th West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High of 48 today, way above the normal. Then a chance for snow tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy and 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Time now for the KSL In-Depth. A 37-year-old woman is dead in Minneapolis after police say that she was shot in the head by an ICE agent. Department of Homeland Security says it was an act of self-defense, claiming the woman was trying to drive into them. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara went over the situation with reporters.
This morning, Minneapolis police officers received a report of federal law enforcement being involved in a deadly force incident, meaning shots had been fired. Minneapolis police officers responded to the scene. We arrived and found a woman with a gunshot wound to the head. Life-saving measures were performed at the scene, including CPR. The woman was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center, where she has since been pronounced deceased. The preliminary information that we have indicates that this woman was in her vehicle and was blocking the roadway on Portland Avenue, midway between 33rd Street and 34th Street in the city. At some point, a federal law enforcement officer approached her on foot, and the vehicle began to drive off. At least 2 shots were fired. The vehicle then crashed on the side of the roadway. Minneapolis police officers secured the crime scene and assisted in trying to preserve the evidence that is there. We have since turned over the scene both to the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which will be conducting an investigation into this use of deadly force.
O'Hara says they have been worried about rising tensions between ICE agents and civilians.
We've had a very dramatic increase in 911 calls related to this activity. We have a protocol in place that has been evolving as the situation has been changing. And at this time, there is a designated supervisor that is on duty 24/7 that fields those calls. And we do everything that we can to ensure that they are appropriately prioritized, with the priority being placed upon the protection of life and safety of everyone in the community.
Can you tell us any more about the woman who was fatally shot? Was she there as a legal observer, protester, bystander? What do you know that you can share?
So the question was, what can I share about the deceased? There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity. This woman was in her car, and it appears then blocking the street because of the presence of federal law enforcement, which is obviously something that has been happening not just in Minneapolis, but around the country. She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
That is Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Traffic and weather. It's brought to you by UCCU, people helping people. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
No accidents, no delays on the Valley freeways or our main secondaries. Up north, we do have a little bit of busy and slow traffic southbound on Highway 89 going past the Walmart towards the I-84 junction. Some of that is just busy traffic around those intersections, but if you're out and about to grab a bite to eat, it's pretty quiet right now. We did have some delays eastbound on 114th South going through South Jordan. A lot of this is due to lane restrictions with road work in the area between Redwood Road and 7th West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, still mild today, 48 degrees. We've got increasing clouds by afternoon and a chance for showers by evening. Thursday, snow showers likely, especially in the morning, 36 the high. 33s, partly cloudy skies on Friday. Saturday, 37, partly cloudy, cold. 39, inverted conditions, so haze is likely Sunday. More haze and deteriorating air quality Monday and Tuesday, with highs in the upper 30s and low 40s possible. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Ooh, I hate that deteriorating air quality kind of thing. Ugh. Guess that's that time of year, right? Mostly cloudy, 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. If this is the year that you're going to make it a priority to improve your health, take off some extra pounds, not just to make sure you look good, but to make sure that you are feeling your best as well. Hey, I need to tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss because 2 years ago, I went on this program. I lost more than 40 pounds with the help of SLC Fat Loss. It's an all-natural program. It helps you drop the weight fast, which made it pretty easy for me to stick with because I'm one of those folks, when I've wanted to lose weight in the past, I've had to get on the treadmill or on the bike and work out for more than an hour a day. And you know how difficult that is when you're super busy. With SLC Fat Loss, there's none of that. You don't have to work out to lose the weight. It's just a simple combination of foods that burn the stored fat off very quickly. They have a great app. It helps keep you accountable. It gave me great resources and recipes to help me be successful. Plus, you can reach out to them at any time for any questions. And right now is the perfect time to start. We know that money's short at the beginning of the year. And due to the overwhelming demand, SLC Fat Loss has extended their huge New Year's sale. That is over 20% off, but that's just for a limited time. So whether you just want to look better or you want to boost your energy, feel better in your clothes, SLC Fat Loss works. And the huge New Year's sale is ending soon, so schedule your free consultation today at slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
At Trio South Ogden, the best years aren't behind you. They're right here. Discover independent living services that embrace aging as an opportunity to lean in, not step back, to pursue passions, not retire from purpose. Here, life is bright, colorful, and unapologetically fun. Because aging doesn't mean changing who you are. It means having more time to be exactly who you are. Schedule your tour today at trioSouthOgden.com. Start your new year in a new ride. Performance Automotive in Bountiful is wrapping up the year with deals you just can't miss. Looking for a rugged Ford, a reliable Toyota, or a stylish Honda? Score incredible savings and financing options that fit your budget. But hurry, these end-of-year deals won't last. Come in for a test drive at Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda, or online at performancebountiful.com. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, driven to be the best.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit rain.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
KSL News Time 1254. Amazon Studios has officially confirmed the star-studded cast for its upcoming Tomb Raiders series. The case includes Sigourney Weaver, Jason Isaacs, Bill Patterson, Celia Imrie, and others. The series is based on the video game franchise and follows the adventures of Lara Croft, played by Sophie Turner. It's set to come out later this year or early next year. Watching Utah's Money. U.S. is no longer the world's top beef producer. Reuters reports Brazil now takes the top spot. It beat output forecasts by hundreds of thousands of tons, shipping $17 billion worth in 2025. A Utah company is getting a shout out from DoorDash. The delivery app released its 26 healthy eats for the 2026. Now, the Protein Foundry in Salt Lake City is on it. It makes high protein waffle bowls, and smoothies. Makes sense as the protein is a trendy ingredient these days. Samsung Electronics is buying $1.73 million worth of its own stock. Reuters reports it's for employee compensation and should take place over the next few months. And taking a look at your money at this moment, it has been a mixed day for the markets. The Dow has been hit hard by bank stocks that are getting hammered. So the Dow is down right now by nearly 300 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 49,168. S&P, though, pretty flat. The NASDAQ up by 114 points. Warner Brothers Discovery has again rejected a hostile takeover bid from Paramount. ABC's Sherry Preston has more.
Warner Brothers Discovery continues to tell its shareholders that Netflix is better positioned for a takeover than Skydance-owned Paramount, even though the Paramount deal does seem to look better on paper. Last month, Paramount CEO David Ellison's father, Larry, said he would personally back more than $40 billion in equity financing for the offer, but Warner says its board has determined the deal is not in the best interest of shareholders. Netflix has offered $72 billion for Warner Brothers Discovery's streaming and studio business, and for now, Paramount's hostile bid is still on the table. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. 4 new Salt Lake branches to love where you bank. And Ricky Meese, what's happening on the roads?
We are wrapping up our noontime drive with an accident, but all vehicles have had time to get out of traffic. This is at the northbound I-215's West Belt and I-80 junction. on the west side of the valley. You'll see vehicles to the left and right shoulders, but at that ramp you have room to access the freeway. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic. The exhibition now open at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at titanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And the forecast calls for a high today of 48 degrees. Still a 60% chance of showers. Right now, 46 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A bell-to-bell ban on cell phones at schools. It could become a reality during the upcoming legislative session. State leaders announcing today their plans to further limit phones and other electronics in Utah classrooms.
It's not the school's problem. It's our problem. I'm the bad guy. He's the bad guy. And let us be the bad guys, and that's okay. And the teachers get to say, hey, I'm sorry. If it was up to me, I would let you all have your phones, but it's not up to me.
The time is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, January 7th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, Learning Unplugged. We have an in-depth look at the possible changes lawmakers are looking into and why they say it's the best direction for Utah students. Also this hour,
it will likely be a Winter Classic that's held at Rice Eccles.
Utah Mammoth, the National Hockey League official, set to make a major announcement today regarding hockey in Utah. Insights from our sports insider coming up at 1:30. But first, our top stories. Protests are underway in Minneapolis after a woman was shot and killed by ICE this morning. DHS Secretary Christy Noem says the officer was acting in self-defense.
The woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey pushed back on the claims that the ICE officer was acting in self-defense, saying the officer acted recklessly and the woman was just trying to turn her car around. Other national stories KSL is following. The White House is confirming reports that Venezuela will give the U.S. 30 to 50 million barrels of oil.
The White House today says there is a deal and a long-term plan for what happens next with Venezuela, but provided few specifics. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on the president's announcement that Venezuela would turn over between 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S.
This was a deal made by the president and his team with the Venezuelan interim authorities. This will benefit both the American people and the Venezuelan people.
Leavitt said the U.S. is selectively rolling back sanctions to enable the transport and sale of Venezuelan crude and oil products to the global markets. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A new award is set to be given to whichever Utah health organization goes above and beyond for the community. It will be called the 2026 Select Health Awards, and it will give $5,000 to 10 Utah organizations that are deemed winners. Applications are open now through February 28th or until 200 submissions are received. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow has had a really rough day. Bank stocks taking a hit. The Dow right now down by 330 points, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 49,169. S&P down by just a couple points, and the NASDAQ gets up by 108 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. People helping people. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
An accident at the interchange of northbound I-215's West Belt at the I-80 junction. All vehicles are out of traffic on the shoulder. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And you can expect rain showers throughout the day, increasing to snow showers by early tomorrow morning, an 80% chance of showers tomorrow. That temperature drops dropping overnight. So today's high 48 down to 36 for tomorrow's high, and then 33 on Friday. 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/22/26, new customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah leaders are considering expanding phone restrictions in schools, moving toward what they call bell-to-bell limits. Learning Unplugged, we have special coverage this hour on Midday. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera was at the Capitol today, and he joins me now. And Eric, so what exactly are they proposing?
So, Maria, the proposal would make phone-free school days the default across Utah, meaning students would keep phones put away from the first bell to the last. This builds on a law passed last year that already limited phone use during class time. So lawmakers say districts that adopted stricter policies saw fewer distractions and calmer classrooms, and now they want to see if that approach works all day. But they're also emphasizing this would still allow local control so districts could decide how it's enforced and when exceptions are needed.
For parents listening, Eric, the big question is safety. I mean,
Right.
What happens if there's an emergency?
Absolutely. I'm a parent myself, too, and that was the big question, right? Lawmakers say emergency communication would not change. Schools would still contact parents directly, and it's really up to the districts if students could access phones if there's, a legitimate safety or medical need. They say the goal isn't to block communication, it's to reduce constant everyday distraction while classes in session and during passing periods. And they were citing other places who are ahead of the curve and seeing that play out in places like New York, Florida, and Texas with success.
I understand you also heard from a student who pushed for this change at her own school.
Yes, I would say this is my favorite part. Avery Gonzalez is a high school student from Cache County who helped lobby for stricter phone rules last year. And then she shared what changed once those rules were in place.
When the bill was passed and was implemented, many of those students and parents came back to me and said thank you. They didn't realize how much their phones were pulling them away from their classmates, teachers, and even from themselves until they experienced school without the constant distraction. Teachers have shared how meaningful it has been to finally see their students fully engage again, to teach without competing with a screen. And students have told me they feel less lonely, more connected, and more like themselves. Instead of scrolling alone, they are talking, laughing, and finally building real friendships.
So, Eric, what happens next?
So lawmakers say this is just the starting point, right? Any changes would go through the next legislative session with input from districts, parents, and educators. Questions around enforcement, exceptions, and age-appropriate flexibility are still very much on the table.
Thank you. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joining me. Utah lawmakers are taking a look at a couple of bills this upcoming session that will sharply curtail the use of digital tools in the public school classrooms. Learning Unplugged, our special coverage continues here on Midday. Lawmakers, including Representative Doug Fiafia, believe technology is actually stunting student learning. Representative Fiafia joined me to talk about what he hopes to accomplish with his SAFE Act.
The biggest thing we're wanting to accomplish with the SAFE Act is ensuring that we have a clear standard for all software that's introduced into our classrooms. What we're seeing is different programs and different tools being introduced that weren't originally designed for education, but designed for engagement, which means that these tools were made specifically to keep users scrolling, clicking, and using it for as long as possible. And so our goal is to ensure that every tool that's introduced, one, gives parents the confidence that their kids are learning, but also that it's safe, that it's legal, and it's effective.
So, Representative, how would you go about taking this step backwards? How would this take place?
Well, this is in conjunction with Representative Fay's Balance Act. And so part of the issue is the amount of screens that we've put in front of our kids. We've gone to a one-to-one model. And so there is a plan to balance that out. But the second is ensuring that kids don't actually have access to explicit material, to pornography, to workarounds on their laptops. And currently today, we're seeing that that's happening. I substitute teach for fun just because I know that I'm going to be voting on legislation and education every year, and I want to know what's happening in the classroom. I want to get to know students. I want to sit in the faculty lounge and talk to teachers and get feedback from them. And during one of these substitute opportunities, I saw kids on all of these prohibited websites, and I said, how do you get through this if the filter's on? And they were sharing a Google Doc spreadsheet with all these links that they could get through filters. And so we want to just make sure that everything that we put in front of our kids is safe, and that is not on the teacher, right? The teachers, what we found is the teachers are now having to be tech support and engineers because they have to figure that out also. It should be on the vendors that actually create the software. They should make sure that it's safe. We're asking for their partnership to make this a priority, that it's secure and safe for our kids, and the teachers should feel that confidence too. And so with this partnership of the SAFE Act, parents feel good, teachers feel good, the students are safe, and we are confident as a legislature making sure that the tools that we put in front of our kids are actually helping them learn and not just keeping them busy.
Representative, how do you kind of deal with the kind of concerns that technology continues to evolve and change just so quickly and make sure that students don't get left behind?
Let me just make this clear. Technology exposure is not technology education, and I think we need to be very clear about that. There are pieces of technology that have come out, and we've realized that our kids didn't need training. We've never trained our kids on social media, but yet they're experts, similar to how they use their phone. And so I think there is curriculum and pedagogy, and I think those two areas have been mixed. And I think there is a way to train our kids on technology and teach them technology without just exposing them to be busy.
Is it safe to say that the standards that you set may change in the future because of the evolution of technology?
Possibly, yeah. With the evolution of AI, there's things that are coming out that we don't really understand and maybe not know where it's going. But I think the standards, for the most part, principally based, will be the same, and technology will ever change. And so I think when we set a standard, if they don't meet it, and most of it is around safety and security, if they don't meet it, then they will have to adjust if they want to be in our schools. And so I think there may be some changes over time, but for the most part, I think our standards, because they're based on principles, will remain the same.
Representative, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think this is an exciting time for Utah to take a stand, to lead the country in what I think is well needed. We've been throwing devices in our classrooms, and students are just busy with them. And what we've lost is the ability to learn and getting back to analog and getting back to writing and reading comprehension, the things that we need our kids to learn in order for them to be successful in the future.
Representative Fiafia and other Republican leaders want a return to analog-first teaching methods where instead of handing out laptops, teachers and parents consider buying a printer. They want to eliminate non-essential screen time and draft rules for the use of artificial intelligence. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Who is Farm Bureau Financial Services? At our core, we're relationship builders. We're home and auto bundlers, life insurers, farm and ranch protectors, and retirement planners. We're neighbors, community members, and friends. We're the people you can count on now and for years to come. Find a Farm Bureau agent at fbfs.com/protect. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company.
Learning Unplugged. We're continuing our deep dive look at state lawmakers' plans to further limit the use of cell phones and electronics in Utah schools. For the break, we discussed plans announced in a news conference today and spoke with Representative Doug Fiafia about his plans to limit electronic use in schools, the SAFE Act. But he's not alone. State Representative Ariel DeFay is also working on legislation that would tackle the issue of phones in schools, something she's calling the Balance Act.
So the Balance Act would take a tiered approach to how much technology is used in the classroom. So we're looking specifically at grades K through 3 and trying to remove as much screen time as possible because those are foundational years when, we're having our critical formation of literacy and numeracy. And we want our children to learn how to think critically. And then the computer skills and digital skills will come along as they get older. This would also require schools to take a look at how much screen time they're using in each class. And really the name of the bill says it, try to balance how much screen time is being used along with teacher instruction, hands-on activities, discussion, and analog methods of learning that we know can work.
Representative DeFay joined Inside Sources this morning to discuss the bill. She says the plans that she's working on aren't happening in a vacuum. She says lawmakers are consulting with experts to learn more about the impacts that technology have on our younger children.
We actually had an expert come in yesterday. His name is Dr. Jared Cooney-Horvath. He wrote the book, The Digital Demise. I think that's right. But I think I may have got that wrong, but he wrote a book. He has done a tremendous amount of work, but there are a lot of scholars out there that are compiling data. This is international data and national data. And what it's showing is that kids of this generation are not performing as well as the generation prior. And so what we're actually seeing is that the introductions of screens is not only not helping our kids, but may be hindering them.
Now, you may be thinking we live in an ever-evolving technological world, so could limiting electronics in school actually hinder Utah children's ability to succeed in the 21st century? Representative DeFay says that's an important issue that they're still looking at and something she hopes her Balance Act would, find balance with.
This bill does not aim to take technology out completely. In fact, with the graduated approach, we want to make sure that children are getting the proper exposure to using these tools. And we have kept the core standards the same as far as digital literacy. So those will continue to be taught. And as they reach those secondary years of school, they will have access to computers. They will have opportunities, especially in CTE courses, to get very nuanced classes. So they can take coding, they can take AI classes if that's their area of interest. The main crux of this bill is that we are ensuring that our children learn on their own without AI and without aids to read and write and think critically before they move to a computer, because we need them to think before computers think for them.
That is State Representative Ariel DeFay. Make sure you stick with KSL News Radio as we track these and other phones and the classroom-related bills this legislative session. Learning Unplugged updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. As the Trump administration continues to push for an annexation of Greenland, one of Utah's congressmen is speaking out against the potential move. More on that after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU, 4 new Salt Lake branches to love where you bank. Ricky?
We are back to a crash-free commute on the Valley freeways. We have good speeds there, as well as our main secondaries with no other problems reported. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early, so they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The White House says they continue to look at their options as they try to find a way to take Greenland away from Denmark control and annex it to the United States. The top Republican in Congress, however, says the American people shouldn't be taking these talks seriously right now. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy explains.
Even as the White House says a military takeover of Greenland is an option, the House Speaker throws cold water on the notion.
Does that mean we're going to go
send troops into Greenland and take it over? No. I mean, they only have, 40, 50,000 people there. This is not a thing.
Mike Johnson confirms in a closed-door briefing with top lawmakers, Secretary of State Marco Rubio did suggest the U.S. could buy Greenland, but
I think he did it with a smile. He was trying. I took that as a joke. He was trying to be humorous about it.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said today that he will meet with officials from Denmark next week about Greenland. Secretary Rubio says President Trump has indicated that acquiring Greenland is a matter of national security for the U.S.
That's always been the president's intent from the very beginning. He said it very early on. I mean, this is not new. He talked about it in his first term.
But Congressman Blake Moore tells Utah's Morning News that even if this isn't a serious conversation, the administration should be cautious about the way they say, especially when it comes to military action in Greenland or against Denmark.
One of the things I've heard people say is that sometimes you take President Trump serious. You don't always have to take him literal. In this case, you're seeing a lot. I mean, those that aren't saying anything regarding Greenland, they're in complete lockstep with me. The other thing too is I've made statements to say, hey, we need to make sure that we're not talking about a military takeover of Greenland. You also saw Rubio, Secretary of State, come in and say, hey, I also want to clarify, some of the things that are being said. And all my colleagues that aren't saying anything, they all agree in the same place. The administration's not, reaching out to us in any type of frustration. Like, yes, this has been something that's going to be in his bonnet since the first term, and I think it's just sometimes very important to make a clear statement. We should not be taking any type of military action, and even those that have floated it within the administration, that's not the option we should be pursuing.
Representative Moore says the U.S. has a productive relationship with Denmark and Greenland, and he believes it's in our country's best interest to keep that relationship strong. Threatening military action and takeovers may lead to a strained relationship.
We have a great relationship right now with respect to Greenland. We have a base on Greenland. We've had a partner and an ally, a NATO ally, that has kind of always given us whatever we've needed. We had somewhat to 15,000 troops on there at some point. There's 150 now, and we have a great intelligence sharing. So we get a lot out of this relationship with Greenland, or with Denmark, with respect to our operations in Greenland, without having to purchase, without having to do any type of ownership of Greenland. And so why would you need to buy it in order to access it? This is one of those things that I found. I'm surprised sometimes in my role that when I make a statement that says, like, hey, we should not taking any military, shouldn't be talking about it, any military action whatsoever with respect to Greenland, why that's news. But in this world, I guess today it made news, but it's given me a chance to highlight the incredibly productive relationship we already have and the positive, military operations and potential and the intelligence sharing that we have with Denmark and our radar systems that there already exist on there. So there's a lot of good that's happening. We do not need this to devolve into a tough situation.
Congressman Moore says the events of this morning with the seizure of a Russian vessel carrying oil from Venezuela underscores the need for a strong relationship with Greenland and Denmark.
We have an enormous amount of opportunity in our base in Greenland where we can monitor oversea operations in the Arctic region, which is becoming a much more important aspect, because, with Russia and their continued aggression, like having a strong ally and a good presence on Greenland helps us with any of these types of transshipment type of issues. So again, good, strong coalition of support on these seizures of these tankers. And I think you're going to see continue. Like, this is the type of stuff that adds to better deterrence and pushback against China and Russia and the operations in Venezuela. This is something that I really hope people recognize is, like, those two countries have found a home in Venezuela in our own hemisphere with the Maduro regime, and that's one of the best, strongest outcomes that can come from what we've done right now in Venezuela is the pushback to make sure that China and Russia know that they cannot continue to manipulate a South American country the way that they have.
European leaders have responded to the president's remarks about taking over Greenland, and they're not happy. The Danish government issuing a joint statement with the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the UK, saying that Greenland belongs to its people. It's for Denmark and Greenland, and them only to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland. Developing news on KSL News Radio. We continue to track developments out of Minnesota, where federal agents and law enforcement officials are clashing right now with protesters after an ICE agent shot a woman during an immigration enforcement operation. News Nation's Allie Bradley is there.
They're telling all of these local police and the sheriff to go arrest ICE. They're right now have been throwing snowballs, have been kind of calm as it is, but they were earlier escalated. Things had elevated pretty quickly here when Border Patrol was actually trying to leave, because Border Patrol and ICE aren't really on scene here anymore. It's more of these local jurisdictions that are out here, these local entities. But when it comes to what we saw earlier on today, it was very interesting because people started throwing snowballs at ICE agents or Border Patrol agents that were leaving the scene, and they actually busted out one of their windows.
DHS alleges the woman in Minneapolis tried to ram the agent's vehicle with her vehicle. Witnesses claim she was just trying to leave the area. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem had this to say about the incident.
The act like we saw today of using a vehicle to try to kill an officer and his colleagues and the other people around him is something that every politician, every elected official, everyone in this country should be able to rally around and say that it is wrong.
Minneapolis police say they are gathering more information but accuse immigration agents of causing chaos in their city. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A major announcement set to happen today regarding the future of hockey in Utah. Warnings from doctors around the state over the growing flu hospitalizations. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Right now, UHP stopping traffic I-215's West Belt at North Temple. Maria?
We are still expecting some snow showers, but they may not arrive tonight. Probably more like into tomorrow because the temperature is going to drop big time. It's 1:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Following a deadly shooting in Minneapolis carried out by an ICE agent, there are conflicting accounts about what happened as immigration operations took place.
It happened on a residential street south of Minneapolis' downtown. A 37-year-old woman positioned her red Honda Pilot in the middle of the road. Videos show masked agents closing in on foot, demanding that she exit the vehicle. The SUV went into reverse and then accelerated. One of the agents fired 3 times. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the officer acted in self-defense.
It was an act of domestic terrorism.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Minneapolis's mayor also accusing ICE of stoking fear and panic with reckless raids and using profanity, telling ICE to get out of his city. The police chief says it appears the woman was not a target of any law enforcement investigation. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. 2 Weber County officers will not be charged for a deadly shooting in April of last year. Weber County attorney says the suspect, Nicholas Trujillo, had pointed a gun at the officers while they were chasing after him, which he says warrants the use of deadly force. Police say Trujillo was a suspect in a robbery earlier in the month, and officers had gone undercover to meet up with Trujillo and arrest him. UDOT is now asking for the public to chime in on a proposal to build a brand new freeway in the Heber Valley. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
UDOT's been studying the traffic and talking with people in the area for years, and today they're now saying they believe the best path forward is to build a freeway west of Highway 40 from about River Road down to the US 189 junction. Project manager Craig Hancock tells me the main goal behind this is to give people a faster way through the valley and free up Heber's Main Street.
We see a lot of congestion on Main Street. And because of the growth in the area, it's we know that it's only going to continue to get worse.
Hancock also says doing this will allow Main Street to become more walkable and make it safer. UDOT will be taking public comments on the proposal starting Friday, but this is just one of the first steps in the process. Hancock says they'll have another public comment period later this summer before they issue their final decision on the project. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. State water watchers say we need to find a way to add about 261 billion gallons every year to the Great Salt Lake in order to reach a healthy lake level within 20 years. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce has more.
That's an additional 800,000 acre-feet of water each year. The report from the Great Salt Lake Task Force touts big gains made in terms of how much water's been added over the last 4 years and the ongoing work to mitigate dust. But they also point out some of the water plants planning will have to account for climate change, which could lead to more evaporation.
In 2025, the Great Salt Lake reached its third lowest level since record-keeping began back in 1903. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow now down by nearly 500 points, nearly a full percent. It sits at 49,006. S&P 500 down by 20, and the NASDAQ, though, it's up by 54 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. People helping people. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
We had an earlier accident northbound I-215's West Belt at the I-80 junction at the ramp on the shoulders. But right now, it looks like UHP is stopping traffic from going southbound on I-215's West Belt to the I-80 junction. The ramp is open, but the main flow is what's blocked off on the West Belt. We are seeing traffic backing up to about 7th North. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Looking for a high today of 48 degrees, still a 60% chance of showers. That chance of showers possibly turning to snow overnight. Tomorrow's high only 36 with an 80% chance of snow tomorrow. 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Connecticut soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking, it's uncomfortable, and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film in your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Connecticut removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Big day for Utah hockey fans. The Smith Entertainment Group, set to announce a major sporting event, will be coming to Salt Lake in 2027. Utah Mammoth insider Cole Bagley joined me with a preview of what we know so far.
Yeah, so today at 4 o'clock, Ryan and Ashley Smith are going to announce that the Utah Mammoth will be hosting an outdoor game. My expectation is that it will be in 2027, as we are obviously in 2026. And they just, the NHL just hosted their 2026 Winter Classic, and they have a Stadium Series game coming up shortly. So, an outdoor game is coming to Rice Eccles next year.
So, describe what a Winter Classic is all about.
Yeah, so nothing's been confirmed yet, but what I'm hearing is that it will likely be a Winter Classic that's held at Rice Eccles, and this is the marquee outdoor event for the National Hockey League. It started in 2008 when the NHL had the idea to kind of take hockey back to its roots, but at the highest level. You know, a lot of youth players, in places like Canada and Michigan and Minnesota, they grew up playing the game outside, right? And so the NHL wanted to kind of replicate that, and what they did was they took it outside. They had the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres face off for the inaugural Winter Classic back in 2008 in Buffalo, New York. It actually turned into a blizzard, and ever since then, they've hosted one every single year. So aside from, the Stanley Cup and the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Winter Classic is kind of like the NHL Super Bowl. It's hosted in a football stadium or a baseball stadium, and so it triples or quadruples the size of the fans that will be in attendance. It's played outside in the elements, and so they've hosted it in places such as Buffalo, New York. They've hosted it in Pittsburgh. They've hosted it in Boston. This year it was in Miami, so it was a little bit different, but it'll be returning more to a winter type of venue, which will be really exciting.
So to say that it would be a big deal for Utah is kind of an understatement.
This is huge. Like I said, aside from, the Stanley Cup, this is about as big as it gets for the NHL. So for Utah to have only existed for 2 years in what will be their third season, to already get an event like this when plenty of other NHL teams who've been around a lot longer have never hosted such an event, it's a big deal. But as we've seen with Ryan and Ashley Smith, anything that they set out to do, they're usually able to accomplish it.
So why Rice Eccles instead of maybe the Delta Center or one of our other ice rinks?
Yeah, so the whole thing of the Winter Classic is that it's outside. And so, that left really two possible venues between Rice Eccles and Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
And we do have breaking news here on KSL News Radio. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is speaking about that deadly shooting of a woman by ICE agents this morning. Let's listen in.
Sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety. That someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. Let me be clear. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident. But we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn against each other. To Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this, please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community, they're business owners, they're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Thank you, Governor. As the Governor mentioned, my name is Bob Jacobson. It is my honor to serve as the Commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. First of all, I want to acknowledge the reason that we are all here. The loss of life is not anything anyone would ever want. We fully expect that the community will want to peacefully demonstrate their anger or frustration. Minnesota residents and visitors have the right to peacefully demonstrate. We recognize that demonstrations are often driven by strong emotions, beliefs, and certainly a desire to be heard. Our role is to help ensure everyone can express themselves without anyone getting hurt. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety's role through the Minnesota State Patrol is to ensure safety, protect constitutional rights, keep roads accessible, and above all, to prevent harm. Our top priority is public safety. Our focus is keeping demonstrators, community members, drivers, and law enforcement safe, especially during moments of heightened tension or uncertainty. Demonstrations must remain safe and lawful, particularly around roadways. We will join with our partners to support safety while respecting the right to protest. With that in mind, I'd like to share a few safe and lawful ways to demonstrate. Minnesotans can safely and legally express their views in many ways, including getting together peacefully with others in public spaces, marching or walking, not on roadways, making your voice heard through chants, speeches, and displaying signs, being present in public areas where pedestrians are allowed, gathering in designated or permitted areas, and these actions will allow people to express themselves while protecting the safety of everyone involved. Unsafe or illegal actions could result in fines or arrests. Certain behaviors create serious hazards that threaten public safety, disrupt emergency services, or put people at risk. These actions could result in fines or arrest. Demonstrating on or entering a freeway on foot, walking on highways, throwing objects, starting or setting fires, damaging property or graffiti, using illegal fireworks, displaying or using illegal weapons, reckless or dangerous driving, especially near pedestrians, and certainly assaultive, aggressive, or riotous behavior toward anyone. We all want definitive answers to what happened today. Our Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is working in conjunction with the FBI to investigate this morning's shooting. As you know, we don't comment on active investigations, but also keep in mind that this investigation is also in its infancy. So any speculation about what had happened would be just that. And we will not engage in speculation. With that, I will turn it back over to the governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'd be glad to take any questions. Yeah, and I can let General Schaefer talk about this. It so happens it's a training weekend. We've got about 7,500 troops in training at our sites, training sites across the state. What it is, and in the National Guard, you give a warning order, which is a heads up of something could be coming. That just allows people to think about what they would need, what it would mean to mobilize, what it would mean to put them in. And I could let the General talk a little bit about this. Obviously, since the summer of 2020, we had a lot of work done on teams being ready to make sure that civil unrest. And what that means, and I think Commissioner Jacobson was very clear, and I want Minnesotans to hear this from me. The desire to get out and protest and to speak up to this administration of how wrong this is, that is a patriotic duty at this point in time, but it needs to be done safely. And I think the Commissioner simply just laid out some of those parameters. We can do that. This is the peaceful resistance that we need. Simon, you want to say a few things about what that means to have them on the ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. So for the military, Minnesota National Guard is comprised of 13,000 soldiers and airmen. We live all across and work throughout Minnesota. A warning order is just an initial step to increase your preparations. The Minnesota Guard is always prepared to respond and support state agencies and the citizens of Minnesota. So what that means for us today is just some additional checks on equipment that is ready at all times, and maybe some additional phone calls to service members who might be activated, but no activations. We are embedded with our state agencies here at the Operations Center to just continue parallel planning in the event that we are needed to support.
And you were listening to a news conference out of Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz voicing his outrage this afternoon over the shooting death by ICE agents of a woman on the streets of Minneapolis during protests. Walz saying that he's angry and warning the federal government that Minnesota does not need further federal help And he says he will not allow his community to be used as a prop in the national political debate. We also heard from the Commissioner of Public Safety, Bob Jacobson, who was urging residents to demonstrate peacefully and giving them tips on how to do so, and saying that he would not speculate on the investigation. As that investigation goes forward, we will continue to keep you up to date right here on KSL News Radio. Right now, let's get you up to date on traffic and weather. It's brought to you by UCCU, people helping people. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, we have northbound delays on I-215's West Belt approaching the I-80 junction. This is where we had an accident earlier at the ramp, and all vehicles were out of traffic. It looks like they're trying to work on getting those cleared, but if you're headed northbound on the West Belt, going from West Valley towards I-80, just anticipate delays starting after California Avenue. Join Lagoon's construction team and help build fun. Lagoon's hiring full-time, year-round CDL heavy equipment operators, concrete finishers, and plumbers 18 years or older. Apply at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got out of it. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer in compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
All right, Utah, this is your shot. KSL and Ivory Homes are teaming up to send you to the big game in Santa Clara on February 8th. To qualify, just stop by any Ivory model home between now and January 31st. Walk through and ask about Ivory's super low loan rate discounts and free upgrade packages. Start now at ivoryhomes.com/super. That's ivoryhomes.com/super.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. when to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000. Or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. People suffering from respiratory illnesses is up across the U.S., and according to the Utah Department of Health, we are not an exception. Dr. Andrew Pavia with University of Utah Health says we are dealing with a few variants of the flu right now and a bad cold that's going around as well. Now, those illnesses are resulting in more people being hospitalized than normal.
When you look at who's getting hospitalized, it's important to let people know that people over 65 have the highest rate, but very close behind them are children under 4 who are being hospitalized at high rates. And I have seen some very, very severe and scary cases of influenza in children in the last couple of weeks, including a number of kids who have ended up on advanced life support. I will point out that virtually all of the people we know about who've been hospitalized with severe complications of influenza have not been vaccinated. There's a lot of talk about the current strains, and unfortunately, the media has dubbed this super flu. And I want to dispel that myth. There's nothing about the circulating strain that we understand makes it super, but it does mean that the vaccine is not working as well as we would like. There are 3 strains of influenza circulating in Utah right now, not just the H3N2 variant subtype K, which is getting all of the media attention. In fact, only about 3/4 of the isolates that have been typed in Utah are H3N2. The remainder have been influenza B or H1N1. Why does that matter? Well, the subtype K of H3N2 is the one that had emerged after the vaccine was started in production. So it's not a great match for the vaccine. That said, the preliminary data that we have from the UK suggests that it's still providing pretty good protection against hospitalization and severe disease from the subtype K. But what's important to realize is that H1N1, which is an influenza A, and influenza B are also circulating. Those are very well matched by the vaccine. So the bottom line is that the vaccine is still really important, and people who have not been vaccinated are running out of time to protect themselves if they haven't already gotten sick with influenza, and they should go out and get vaccinated, but time is running out.
He says one of the saving graces right now and a reason hospitals aren't being overwhelmed is because COVID and RSV are seeing lower rates of hospitalization this year. But Dr. Pavia says there is concern this flu season with the early symptoms of the flu closely resembling early symptoms of measles.
There isn't any specific recommendation that people who probably have flu or another respiratory illness call ahead, but people do need to think about whether their cough and fever could be due to measles. And if you're not vaccinated, if your cough and high fever are associated with red eyes, or if you've been exposed to measles, then it's very hard to tell the first few days of measles from influenza. And that's the situation in which you should call ahead, let them know so that you don't expose everyone in the waiting room, and they can sort out whether it's flu, whether it's measles, or something else. So the best way to clarify is to make sure you're vaccinated against measles. Everybody who's over the age of 1 should be up to date on their measles vaccine. I'll say that again. Getting vaccinated for measles is really critical.
To learn more about vaccinations, talk with your primary care physician. Today, you have a chance to help members of the Tremont and Garland Police Department attend a ceremony in the nation's capital for fallen law enforcement officers. Twisted Sugar locations in Brigham City and Tremont are donating 25% of their sales today to make sure that as many officers as possible can attend a ceremony in Washington, D.C. that will honor the 2 officers killed in their community who were responding to a domestic disturbance. The names of Sergeant Lee Sorensen and Officer Eric Estrada are set to be added to the National Fallen Officers Memorial. Callie Marchant is a manager at Twisted Sugar.
Our community is really important to us. We try to help our community at both stores as much as we can. And it's really personal to me because my dad's a police officer and knew both of them personally. And I know that the owners knew them too, and so we just really feel for them and want everyone to be able to go support them.
Marchant tells KSL-TV they want to make sure as many officers as possible can attend the ceremony.
I remember when they did their motorcade, there were a lot of officers, so I'm sure that as many as possible would want to go. And we're hoping that it will be really big so we can give as much as we can towards the police department.
And she says it's very personal for her family.
So when my dad worked for Tremont City, he worked with Sergeant Lee Sorensen. I think it was while my dad was a sergeant and Lee was part of his crew. And then my dad worked with Eric Estrada in North Logan when he was a detective there. I knew Lee personally. He was amazing. I would joke with him all the time, and so honestly, we love to back the blue in my family, and so it's just super important. And it's just so sad whenever we see anything happen to these officers who are so brave.
In addition to the Twisted Sugar locations in Brigham City and Tremonton, the Bear River Floral Store in Tremonton is also raising money today.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A winter weather advisory set to take effect late tonight. A storm about to blow into the region, expected to bring rain and snow to the mountains and the valleys.
Into early tomorrow morning, sometime between 2 and 4 a.m., is when we'll likely see a switchover from rain showers to snow showers along the valley floor. Tomorrow, we could even see some lake enhancement and lake effect snow showers.
The time is 2 o'clock on Wednesday, January 7th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, winter weather. We have an in-depth look at how, where, and when the storm will hit, plus a look at how the storm could affect the avalanche danger here. Also this hour, several years of economic uncertainty. Will 2026 look any better? Zions Bank is out with their yearly outlook on the economy. We'll get insights from a senior economist coming up in just a bit. But first, our top stories. Developing news. We are hearing from Minnesota officials on the deadly shooting this morning in Minneapolis. Officials say a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent. Governor Tim Walz said that this shooting was predictable and avoidable.
What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
Federal officials say the woman was trying to run over agents with her car and the officer was just acting in self-defense. The White House is breaking down why the Trump administration is interested in buying Greenland. Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
More control over the Arctic region and ensuring that China and Russia and our adversaries cannot continue their aggression in this very important and strategic region. And there would be many other benefits as well that, again, the president and his national security team are currently talking about.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is already planning to meet with Greenland and Danish leaders. KSL Sports, the Utah Mammoth has hockey fans on edge for their seats this afternoon. Earlier today, the team teased that they will announce a major event that's coming to Utah. Mammoth insider Cole Bagley told me he expects them to announce an outdoor game in 2027.
What I'm hearing is that it will likely be a winter classic that's held at Rice Eccles, and this is the marquee outdoor event for the National Hockey League. It started in 2008 when the NHL had the idea to kind of take hockey back to its roots, but at the highest level.
Bagley says that the Winter Classic is the biggest event in hockey outside of the Stanley Cup. The announcement is expected to come at 4. We will hear it live here on the air when it happens, and stay with us right here on KSL News Radio. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 466 points at the close. That's nearly a full percent. It sits at 48,996. S&P 500 down by 24 points. The NASDAQ up by 37 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU, 4 new Salt Lake branches. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
We've had a report of a crash on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 in the Lehigh area, not far from SR 92 Temp Highway. I'm not seeing it in the cameras, and there's no delay in the area. But where we still have some leftover slowing, that's northbound I-215's west belt, starting just after the 201 junction up to I-80. A lot of that slowing, especially starting at California Avenue. Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
60% chance of rain showers across the Wasatch Front today. That changing to snow showers sometime overnight. An 80% chance of snow tomorrow. Today's high 48. Tomorrow that high down to 36 degrees and then staying in the 30s almost into next week. Right now, 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $321 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Cloudy skies across the Wasatch Front today and a slight breeze moving through the area. Behind it, a storm is set to roll in. Now, it could pack a decent punch, especially since we haven't really had a good winter storm yet this season. In fact, much of northern Utah is under a winter weather advisory beginning late tonight. Winter weather on Midday. We have special coverage. To get more on what you can expect, I'm joined by KSL meteorologist Devin Mashuli. Thanks for being with me. We haven't had a chance to talk much about winter weather, Devin. So give us kind of a hour-by-hour breakdown over the next day.
Okay, so as we go to bed tonight, we're already seeing showers out there right now across northern Utah. There's some light rain in Brigham City, and of course we have some mountain snow showers going on right now. But as we go to bed, after midnight, it looks like a cold front will begin to slide into northern Utah. This will bring the better punch of precipitation. Now, first with the cold fronts, so say 1 to 2 a.m., we could see some rain, even some mixed kind of wintry precipitation. And then once the cold air kind of catches up behind the cold front, as it continues to slide south through the morning, that's when we can see that transition to snow. So during the morning commute, as for northern and central Utah, we're expecting to see snow showers out there. And eventually these snow showers, say by noon, will be mostly in the southern half of the state. Northern Utah, especially along the Wasatch Front, will be fairly quiet after this cold front passes. So quiet conditions around, say, 8 to noon, by that point somewhere. But lake effect is our biggest kind of wild card here. We could see lake effect snow bands continue for areas south and southeast of the Great Salt Lake throughout the entire day tomorrow. That's kind of the wild card. So it's like while everyone else along the Wasatch Front, Cache Valley, they'll be quiet after that cold front passes early tomorrow morning. The bands of lake effect could continue for areas along the Salt Lake Valley and Tooele Valley, so they could see some snow showers all day long.
Okay, so how much snow are we talking?
Yeah, how much? So it looks like around 1/2 inch to 3 inches is what I'm going for the Wasatch Front. And that is a little, we kind of tweaked the lower end. I believe yesterday we had about 1 inch, but we dropped it to 1/2 inch just because the cold front coming through looks to move through pretty quickly. 6 to 12 inches for our northern mountains, but up to 16 inches for the cottonwoods, 4 to 8 inches for our central and southern mountains. For the benches here, about 2 to 5 inches. And then the Central Valley is about 1/2 inch to 2 inches. So really our Central and Southern Valley. So everyone's going to get a little bit of snow with this thing.
Okay. Obviously, people care most during the drive times.
Yes.
So we're going to have just rain during the drive time this afternoon.
Yes.
But what about morning drive?
Morning drive, it will be snow. So that's why we want to tell people to, add extra time. And of course, if you're traveling on the western side of the valley or heading towards Tooele, if we can get those thicker lake effect bands, that could be kind of some of that heavier snow. So can reduce visibility and such. So it's not going to be a ton of snow. I mean, it's not plowable really for the valleys, especially because our ground's still pretty warm. So even say if we get 1 inch to fall, it might only be 1/2 inch of accumulation, but it's still enough to create slick conditions. So 1/2 inch to 3 inches by tomorrow morning for the Salt Lake Valley or Wasatch Front, and could be more if we get lake effect snow.
Okay, so is this going to set a trend? Are there some more snow showers expected after this one?
I wish. No, it looks like there's still a chance for more lake effect. It's a low chance Thursday night and a Friday morning, but after that, it looks like high pressure is going to build back in. We are just going to be high and dry for at least the next week, maybe even past that. So I wish the pattern was going to stay progressive like we saw the past week, but does not look like it, sadly. So valley haze is likely to replace the snow.
All right. Are skiers a little happier now, though?
Yeah. I mean, I was personally. I went up on Saturday and I was like, wow, this is kind of sad up at Snow Basin. And then we got that storm over the weekend and then into the beginning of this past week. So it was nice. It was fresh snow. But as we head into this weekend, they'll be happy. And then I imagine conditions will kind of deteriorate as we head into the next week, given that we'll have an inversion setting up, which means that the mountains will get warmer temperatures than the valleys. So that means melting snow.
Thank you so much for getting us up to date. I appreciate it. Yeah. And make sure that you download the KSL Weather app. You can find it for free in your Apple app or at Google Play stores. And make sure that you're dialed into Utah's morning news tomorrow morning beginning at 5 a.m. so you can get the latest weather and traffic news as the storm continues to roll through the area. And again, thanks, Devin, for being with us. Devin Mishuli, KSL meteorologist, joining me. Behind this storm, an increase in avalanche dangers. Winter weather, our special coverage continues on Midday with Utah Avalanche Center's Craig Gordon. Hi, Craig. Thanks for being with me.
Oh, my absolute pleasure, Maria. How's it going?
It's going well. Okay, so before the storm rolls in, how are things looking in Utah's mountains and backcountry?
Yeah, well, we'll just back up to this weekend. And, I mean, we had a blockbuster of a series of storms, couple feet of snow, couple inches of water, coupled with some strong winds definitely bumped up the avalanche danger. And, even though things have subsided, Maria, the backcountry snowpack is still a little tenuous. I like to think like it's in its infancy, starting to get comfortable in its own skin, but it's got a lot of maturing to still yet to be done. For the mountains of northern Utah, on a scale of 1 to 5, we're at a level 3. That means there's a considerable avalanche danger, and human-triggered avalanches are likely.
So, what if we do get more snow in the mountains tonight? How's that going to change the avalanche danger?
Yeah, well, what we expect is that the avalanche danger could potentially ramp up, especially during those times of heightened snowfall intensity or maybe strong winds. So what's a little bit different about this storm, not quite the robust water numbers that we saw in the last series of storms, and this lower density snow is falling on, some pre-existing layers, though. It's not going to be quite the big thump that we saw. However, there's still some areas that we've got to keep an eye on, and that's going to be steep, rocky terrain, especially in the mid and upper elevations on the leeward side of ridges, and it's going to be the north half of the compass.
So with so many different areas, so much different terrain, how do you guys determine what the avalanche danger is in all these places?
Yeah, so we have forecasters statewide from Logan into Ogden, the Salt Lake area mountains, the Uintas, Provo, the Skyline down in the southwest, and of course in the LaSalle's and the Abajos. And each individual forecaster or team of forecasters for those regions is out on the snow daily, recording the layers in the snowpack, correlating that with upcoming weather events. And of course, we're testing the snow to see what its strengths are and then what could tip the scales. And then we get up at dark 30. We pour through and sift through all of the various observations that are submitted to our organization, UtahAvalancheCenter.org, and then we formulate the forecast for the day.
All right. So what is your best advice to those folks who may want to head out into the outdoors in the next few days?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Maria, no matter how we're enjoying the greatest snow on earth, we're skiing, we're snowboarding, snowmobiling, extreme snow angeling, we're snowshoeing. We definitely want to be armed with the latest avalanche forecast for the zone that you plan to travel in. And remember, UtahAvalancheCenter.org, that's your one-stop shop for all things avalanche.
Craig, always appreciate you. Thanks for being with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Craig Gordon joining me from the Utah Avalanche Center. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The last several years have been a bit of a roller coaster for the economy. Prices have gone up, inflation has gone up and then down, and the stock market is soaring. With all of that in mind, what may the economy do in 2026? Today, Zions Bank released their 2026 economic outlook, and joining me with more is Robert Spendlove, who is the senior economist at Zions Bank. And so what are you projecting, Robert, for 2026?
Well, just like you said, 25 was kind of this roller coaster year. We had inflation, we had employment changes, we had tariffs and trade policy, and kind of changes in the consumer. And so what we see with all this is, the Federal Reserve has been lowering interest rates, and they will continue to lower those rates, but a lot of those rate lowering will kind of slow down. We're going to be watching to see if the labor market continues to slow and whether we start to see more of that inflationary pressure as the Trump administration figures out what they're going to do with tariffs and trade policy.
Yeah, let's talk about inflation and affordability for consumers right now. It's a huge concern.
It is, and it's one of the biggest struggles that a lot of people are facing. It's this constant price increase, and not just the inflation. So inflation is the change in prices, but it's that price level where prices today overall are about 25% higher than they were 5 years ago, and adjusting to that is really tough for consumers.
So, explain why, even though consumer sentiment remains down, consumer spending is still kind of holding up.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, we call this the K-shaped economy, where even though consumers are still spending, we're seeing a big kind of bifurcation between the higher income consumers and lower income consumers, where over 100,000, those consumers continue to spend. They continue to be going out doing activities, but it's those consumers under $50,000 in income that are really feeling the pinch of these higher prices.
So, how does the Intermountain region continue to kind of stay in a little bubble when it comes to the economy, especially when we are just subject to the international pressures that everybody else is?
Yeah, and we do feel that, we're part of the national economy. Utah is part of some of these pressures, but we continue to see very strong fundamentals. Our population growth continues to grow much higher than the national rate. Our employment growth is stronger than the nation, but still at the same time, our unemployment rate is lower than the national average. So we've got these great kind of economic fundamentals that keep our economy strong. Now, one of our struggles, though, of course, is affordability, especially a housing affordability, and that's something that I think we will continue to be dealing with and struggling with into 2026.
So, when you're talking about housing affordability and interest rates, there have been a lot of folks just kind of waiting and hoping that they'll be able to afford a home and hoping that interest rates will come down. What is your best advice to those folks who maybe can afford a home, but they wanted something nicer? I mean, what are you telling folks who are in the home buying market?
Well, I think it's really important to be kind of realistic about your expectations. You might not be able to get that upgraded home. You might not be able to get all the upgraded products, but I don't think we're going to see a significant reduction in interest rates. I don't think we're going to see, home price appreciation is relatively stable right now. So we're in kind of a holding pattern, and I think we're going to be in this holding pattern for the next little while. And so it's important to just get out there, be realistic, and find something that can work for you.
So should people be concerned at all? I mean, if somebody's thinking maybe I want to buy a new car, my car is just not doing very well right now, is it actually a good time for them to go out and maybe make a purchase like this, or are there some things that they should be concerned about moving forward?
Well, we are seeing some signs of distress among consumers. And, it's funny you mentioned autos, because when we look at subprime auto lending, we are starting to see some signs of distress there. So we're starting to see a little bit of a drop in affordability of cars and financing of the cars. But, even when there are some signs of weakness, there are still opportunities. And so I would say it's really important to find those opportunities. Be realistic. Don't get ahead of yourself. Make sure you have a plan and a budget, especially in times like this.
Robert, appreciate your help. Thanks for being with me.
It's great to be with you.
Robert Spendlove is a senior economist at Zions Bank. After the break, we'll go to Uvalde, Texas, and get the latest on a trial there involving a school police officer and that deadly school shooting from a few years ago. But first, it's KSL Traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by UCCU. Helping people love where you bank.
Right now, we are back to a quiet commute on the Valley freeways. Earlier crashes gone, earlier delays gone, no problems reported. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired. And don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early, so they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Calling all Jazz fans. If you can't wait another second to see stars like Ace Bailey and Lowry Markkanen tear up the court, you're in luck. Tickets are on sale now. Let's go! No matter what you're looking for, the Utah Jazz has your back. With season tickets, mini plans, and single game options available, there's something for everyone. Whatever your schedule or budget, there's a plan for every fan. Don't miss a moment of the action this season. Secure your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. So why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do, because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FULL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code FULL. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FULL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FULL.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The criminal case against a former Uvalde, Texas school police officer could be in jeopardy after defense attorneys accused prosecutors of withholding key information that was revealed yesterday during the first day of testimony. The defense claims prosecutors failed to disclose that a former Robb Elementary School teacher changed her original account of the shooting during testimony in the long-anticipated trial. On the Start Here podcast, host Brad Mielke and ABC's Peter Haralambous describe what's at stake in the trial of Officer Adrian Gonzalez.
So this trial is really about whether or not individual police officers who responded to this school shooting should bear some responsibility for the botched response. Multiple investigations have pointed out huge flaws in the police response that day. After years of investigations and reports, the Uvalde District Attorney charged the Uvalde Schools Police Chief, Pete Arredondo, and the Uvalde Schools Police Officer, Adrian Gonzalez, for allegedly endangering students with that response. The Pete Arredondo case has been delayed, but starting this week in Corpus Christi, Adrian Gonzalez's case is beginning trial.
The state of Texas versus Adrian Gonzalez in the District Court of the 38th Judicial District of Uvalde County.
Prosecutors allege that he was one of the first officers to respond to the scene of the crime. And we learned yesterday in opening statements that prosecutors say that he was given advanced warning from a teacher who saw the shooter.
She urges him to go get him.
Adrian Gonzalez just says, where?
And despite knowing where the shooter was and having training on what to do in an active shooter situation, he allegedly stood by. He didn't follow that training. He spent more time radioing his colleagues and maintaining a perimeter than actually storming into that school and mounting some kind of counterassault that could have theoretically stopped this shooting.
He gets on the radio and says, shots are fired, he's wearing black, he's in the parking lot. He knows where he is. But Adrian Gonzalez remains.
That's what prosecutors allege. Defense attorneys say that their client did everything he could in that moment and that he's basically being scapegoated for a broader failure by law enforcement.
What's it like in this courtroom? Because even before opening statements yesterday, you were watching jury selection. This is not even taking place in Uvalde, and yet it does sound like just such an incredibly charged atmosphere there in Texas.
That's exactly right. So we're 200 miles from Uvalde, in part because of how hard it would have been to find a fair jury in Uvalde, given that's where the crime took place. And despite us being in Corpus Christi, we still saw those emotions flare up during the jury selection process. I've seen many jury selections. I've never seen one like this, where basically members of the potential jury were standing up, criticizing the police response, saying that they would have stormed in there, that the police allegedly were cowards, that they're teachers, and they can't believe how bad the response was. And as they were making these criticisms, other members of the jury, we're talking about dozens of other potential jurors, were clapping, were cheering in support. Really a remarkable scene to see in jury selection. About 100 jurors actually had to excuse themselves because they couldn't believe they could be fair. And ultimately, they did land on 12 jurors who said that they could set aside their personal feelings.
Haralambous also describes the emotional testimony yesterday on day one.
One man who worked at a funeral home across the street from the elementary school recounted making a 911 call when he saw the shooter.
Please, there's kids out there. There's kids out there, please. He's shooting at a truck that's going by.
The jury listened to that 911 call. They listened to the terror in his voice as he realized what was happening and that a gunman was about to go into the school. Another witness was a teacher who was with her students on the Uvalde playground that day. She recounted how her and her students basically armed themselves with safety scissors.
They had ended up getting safety scissors, I guess because they saw us with our scissors. We got theirs. I didn't even notice until we got to the parking lot.
And as they locked down in their classroom and waited for police to come and get them.
Host Brad Milkey and ABC's Peter Haralambous on the Start Here podcast. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Learning Unplugged, we're digging into renewed efforts from state lawmakers to further restrict phone electronic usage in Utah schools. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
All clear on your Valley freeways, Maria.
And the weather is changing. Could see some snow showers tomorrow. It's 2:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. ICE operations in Minneapolis ending in an ICE officer shooting and killing a woman inside her vehicle. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called it a case of domestic terrorism, claiming the woman used her vehicle as a weapon.
An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
President Trump in a social media post says he watched a clip of the video and says the agent acted in self-defense. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz calling for calm and says there will be a full investigation of the incident.
It's beyond me that apparently from the federal government, from the Homeland Security Director herself, has already determined who this person was, what their motive was, and they hadn't even been taken out of the vehicle.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says he saw the video too and accused federal immigration officials of spinning the circumstances, angrily calling on them to leave his city. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. UDOT is now asking for the public to chime in on a proposal to build a brand new freeway in the Heber Valley. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
UDOT's been studying the traffic and talking with people in the area for years, and today they're now saying they believe the best path forward is to build a freeway west of Highway 40 from about River Road down to the US 189 junction. Project manager Craig Hancock tells me the main goal behind this is to give people a faster way through the valley and free up Heber's Main Street.
We see a lot of congestion on Main Street.
and because of the growth in the area, it's we know that it's only going to continue to get worse.
Hancock also says doing this will allow Main Street to become more walkable and make it safer. UDOT will be taking public comments on the proposal starting Friday, but this is just one of the first steps in the process. Hancock says they'll have another public comment period later this summer before they issue their final decision on the project. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
In national news, gaming platform Roblox will now require people to verify their age before accessing the chat feature. Users will have to scan their face using AI. Brandon Amaker, director of the Emerging Tech Policy Lab at UVU, told me that this is a step in the right direction, but it could make it difficult to protect children's data.
We'll have to kind of wait and see how it goes, but this is not something that's foolproof. You'll probably still see activity happening, but the bad actors who are very, very prolific on this platform are going to find ways around these things.
Amaker says that going forward, safety shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be embedded in the creation of tech platforms. Other national stories KSL is following. Utah Representative Blake Moore is making it very clear that he's against any talk of the U.S. using force against Greenland. Moore tells Utah's Morning News that the U.S. and Greenland have a great working relationship, and the U.S. has already been told it can expand military operations to defend the region on the U.S. base that already exists in Greenland.
We have an enormous amount of opportunity in our base in Greenland where we can monitor oversea operations in the Arctic region, which is becoming a much more important aspect, because with Russia and their continued aggression, like having a strong ally and a good presence on Greenland helps us with any of these types of transshipment type of issues.
Greenland is a territory of Denmark, and Moore says it's important that we don't damage our relationship with Denmark, which buys military planes from the U.S. and helps with intelligence sharing. Taking a look at your money at this moment, at the close, the Dow was down 466 points, nearly a full percent to end at 48,996. Just couldn't stay up above that 49,000 mark. S&P 500 down by 24, and the NASDAQ, it was up by 37 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. 4 new Salt Lake branches to love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
All quiet along the Wasatch Front roadways. That's your freeways and main secondaries. I'm seeing a lot of dark clouds out there. But for right now, roads are mostly dry and not seeing any of that precipitation that's on its way. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Looking for a secure retirement plan without market risk? Look no further. Lyle Boss, president of Boss Financial, specializes in no market risk retirement strategies with guarantees of principal, guaranteed growth, and lifelong income. Join Lyle right here each Saturday and Sunday for his Safe Money radio show and call him now at 855-355-SAFE for your complimentary customized Safe Money information kit and Safe Money book. Nothing but upside here at 855-355-SAFE.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah leaders are considering expanding phone restrictions in schools, moving toward what they call bell-to-bell limits. Learning Unplugged, we have special coverage. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera was at the Capitol today.
The proposal would make phone-free school days the default across Utah, meaning students would keep phones put away from the first bell to the last. This builds on a law passed last year that already limited phone use during class time. So lawmakers say districts that adopted stricter policies saw fewer distractions and calmer classrooms, and now they want to see if that approach works all day. But they're also emphasizing this would still allow local control so districts could decide how it's enforced and when exceptions are needed.
For parents listening, Eric, the big question is safety. I mean,
Right.
what happens if there's an emergency?
Absolutely. I'm a parent myself, too, and that was the big question, right? Lawmakers say emergency communication would not change. Schools would still contact parents directly, and it's really up to the districts if students could access phones if there's, a legitimate safety or medical need. They say the goal isn't to block communication, it's to reduce constant everyday distraction while class is in session and during passing periods. And they were citing other places who are ahead of the curve and seeing that play out in places like New York, Florida, and Texas with success.
I understand you also heard from a student who pushed for this change at her own school.
Yes, I would say this is my favorite part. Avery Gonzalez is a high school student from Cache County who helped lobby for stricter phone rules last year. And then she shared what changed once those rules were in place.
When the bill was passed and was implemented, many of those students and parents came back to me and said thank you. They didn't realize how much their phones were pulling them away from their classmates, teachers, and even from themselves until they experienced school without the constant distraction. Teachers have shared how meaningful it has been to finally see their students fully engage again, to teach without competing with the screen. And students have told me they feel less lonely, more connected, and more like themselves. Instead of scrolling alone, they are talking, laughing, and finally building real friendships.
So, Eric, what happens next?
So lawmakers say this is just the starting point, right? Any changes would go through the next legislative session with input from districts, parents, and educators. Questions around enforcement, exceptions, and age-appropriate flexibility are still very much on the table.
That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera there. State leaders aren't just calling for schools to limit electronics. First Lady Abby Cox is also calling for parents to limit electronics. Learning Unplugged, our coverage continues on Midday. The First Lady joining other state leaders at an event in Ogden to promote reading and literacy. It comes as new data shows that nearly half of Utah's young children are not reading at grade level.
This is not an indictment on teachers. This is not, a failure of our incredible teachers and educators. This is really a nationwide issue. We saw. Obviously, it was exacerbated with the pandemic, but we saw dropping literacy rates even before that. And I think a lot of that is tied to our screen time, our social media time. But we're seeing kids coming into school not prepared to read.
She says it's important for parents to put down the screen and pick up a good old-fashioned book, not only for themselves, but for their kids, too. But what about children who grow up in families where books aren't present?
If we think of like middle-income families, on average, there's about 12 books per child in those homes. If we think about our underprivileged families, we are talking about there is one book per about 300 homes. There are many, many homes in this state that don't have one single book in their house. So that's where it starts. We have to get that. We also have to help educate parents to make sure that they know that these benchmarks are important. We saw from pediatricians telling us there is this disconnect. Many parents, as they're feeding their newborn baby, are scrolling on their phones instead of making those critical connections and eye contact with that child. And that is where literacy starts. It starts in those early moments with that baby. And then it progresses from there. But we need to make sure that parents understand that this is critical, that it's not just critical for reading. And parents need to know that, yes, teachers are going to help those kiddos learn to read when they get there, but these kids need to be ready to learn when they get to kindergarten.
She says the state is looking to other states for guidance to see how they are tackling the issue of childhood literacy.
So we are sort of looking at them, and there's states around the country that are doing different things that are seeing success. So we're looking at them and seeing what are those pieces. And it's often been called the Mississippi miracle, but if you talk to the folks in Mississippi, they say it's not a miracle, it's a marathon. And so it's not one thing, and it's not just Utah. It's everywhere that we're starting to see these challenges. And so what we're looking at is what was working in Mississippi? What did they do? What are other challenges or other states across the country doing that are fighting this challenge? And we're trying to look at every one of those levers to push that. So we think, Mississippi did it. We know in Utah we can do it. We are number one in economy and all the number one things. We are number one for two-parent homes. It's really critical that here in Utah we make sure that we're addressing this number. And through the community efforts, I think we can do that.
In the end, the First Lady says the challenges of reading literacy are problems that affect the entire community. So it's important for the entire community to come together to find solutions.
It's how do we get those early, we need to get books in the hands of young families and young children, pre-K. We need to get the resources to teachers, and it's a community issue. And it's going to take a community solution.
First Lady Abby Cox speaking to Inside Sources about the need to improve Utah's childhood literacy rates. Big day for Utah hockey fans. Smith Entertainment Group set to announce a major sporting event that will be coming to Salt Lake in 2027. Last hour, we began a conversation with Utah Mammoth insider Cole Bagley to preview the announcement, but got cut off by a news conference in Minnesota. So let's go back to that earlier discussion.
Yeah, so today at 4 o'clock, Ryan and Ashley Smith are going to announce that the Utah Mammoth will be hosting an outdoor game. My expectation is that it will be in 2027 as we are obviously in 2026. And the NHL just hosted their 2026 Winter Classic, and they have a Stadium Series game coming up shortly. So, an outdoor game is coming to Rice Eccles next year.
So, describe what a Winter Classic is all about.
Yeah, so nothing's been confirmed yet, but what I'm hearing is that it will likely be a Winter Classic that's held at Rice Eccles, and this is the marquee outdoor event for the National Hockey League. It started in 2008 when the NHL had the idea to kind of take hockey back to its roots, but at the highest level. A lot of youth players, in places like Canada and Michigan and Minnesota, they grew up playing the game outside, right? And so the NHL wanted to kind of replicate that, and what they did was they took it outside. They had the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres face off for the inaugural Winter Classic back in 2008 in Buffalo, New York. It actually turned into a blizzard, and ever since then, they've hosted one every single year. So aside from, the Stanley Cup and the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Winter Classic is kind of like the NHL Super Bowl. It's hosted in a football stadium or a baseball stadium, and so it, triples or quadruples the size of the fans that will be in attendance. It's played outside in the elements, and so they've hosted it in places such as Buffalo, New York. They've hosted it in Pittsburgh. They've hosted it in Boston. This year it was in Miami, so it was a little bit different. But it'll be returning more to a winter type of venue, which will be really exciting.
So to say that it would be a big deal for Utah is kind of an understatement.
This is huge. Like I said, aside from, the Stanley Cup, this is about as big as it gets for the NHL. So for Utah to have only existed for 2 years in what will be their third season, to already get an event like this when plenty of other NHL teams who've been around a lot longer have never hosted such an event, it's a big deal. But as we've seen with Ryan and Ashley Smith, anything that they set out to do, they're usually able to accomplish it.
So why Rice Eccles instead of maybe the Delta Center or one of our other ice rinks?
Yeah, so the whole thing in the Winter Classic is that it's outside. And so, that left really two possible venues between Rice Eccles and Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Rice Eccles just kind of makes more sense based on, what they're trying to do, the proximity to downtown Salt Lake, to the Delta Center, to the airport. This game is all about taking it outside. And so it'll be interesting to see, obviously this year, the weather hasn't been really a true Utah winter, but I'm sure the NHL is hoping for a little bit more snow in 2027 as, hockey goes outside in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so has there been a date set for this?
No date has been set yet. Generally, the Winter Classic is held around somewhere close to New Year's Eve, whether that's the New Year's Eve itself or New Year's Day. This year it was held on January 2nd. It's usually right around the first of the year. So not very many details have been announced quite yet. What we do know is that there will be an outdoor game at Rice Eccles Stadium in 2027. We don't know exactly what it'll be at, when it'll be at, or who it'll be against. But like I said, what I'm hearing is that it will likely be the Winter Classic. We'll just have to wait and see this afternoon who the opponent will be and exactly, what date it will take place on.
Cool, great. Any final thoughts for us?
This is exciting. For me personally, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I mean, this event is just so true to the game of hockey. I remember being a young kid watching the original Winter Classic with my dad, and those are very fond memories. And so for Utah to now experience that, and for the eyes of the hockey world and much of the sports world to be coming to Salt Lake for something like this it's special.
News conference happening at 4 o'clock. You can get updates and hear the conference live right here on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. After the break, a new conspiracy surrounding one of Netflix's most popular series, Stranger Things. We'll get a breakdown on what fans of the Upside Down are thinking after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by UCCU. People helping people. Love where you bank, Ricky.
We do have a new problem, and it could be a big one. A crash involving multiple vehicles blocking traffic northbound I-15 prior to the 6 South exit. Only 2 left lanes of traffic open. We're still waiting for more emergency crews to arrive on the scene, and we are seeing delays build. We also have debris in the road. We want to let Steve know. Thanks for the traffic tip. It's over to the right shoulder now, westbound I-215 South Belt, after the I-15 junction, but before Redwood Road. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo, the 16th through 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Ready to win? Head to KSL.com/win for your chance to score big. This week, you could win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Utah International Auto Expo, January 16th through the 19th at the Mountain America Expo Center. See the newest cars, trucks, and electric vehicles all in a non-selling environment. New contests are added all the time, so there's always another chance to win big. Don't miss out. Visit KSL.com/win today and enter to win. That's KSL.com/win.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say?
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse because you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early. So they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Fans of the popular Netflix series Stranger Things basically losing their minds today over a possible Easter egg on Google. So, if you go to Google search and you type in Stranger Things, then you hit enter, a weird little dice pops up at the bottom of the screen. If you click it, your screen flips, a little nod to the upside down featured so heavily in the show. Fans taking this as a sign that the show might not actually be over. Now, the supposed series finale already aired, but fans think that there may be more to the story. Before we get started, here's your spoiler alert. If you haven't finished the series yet, maybe take a quick break and come back after 3 o'clock. Okay, joining me now is Caitlin Johnston, the producer of Inside Sources here on KSL News Radio. Okay, what do you think is happening with this Easter egg thing, Caitlin?
Oh, well, I think it is a deep rabbit hole that people have figured out. I don't know for sure if it's happening, but I want to say something. About an hour ago, less than an hour ago, Netflix did not help the situation because they just posted a video that had the caption in quotes that it's not the same, referring to the town of Hawkins. And that's just fueling the fire. So if you want, I can give a little bit of background as to why people are thinking this is crazy, if you want me to do that.
Yeah, tell us about,
It's a little complex, so I'm gonna sum it up really quick. In the Upside Down, which you referenced, there is this creature, this thing called Vecna or Henry or Mr. What's-It. It's a no good thing. But basically what he does is he takes control of your mind and makes you see things that are not real. And so what people are kind of riffing off of is that the finale that we got was not a real reality. They're calling it, this theory, conformity gate, that it was too normal for what Stranger Things could produce. And so that's what has caused this friendly. And to me, that's just me thinking that people didn't like the finale. I happen to like it, but that's pretty much what's happening.
Okay, so the whole Easter egg thing, I mean, there's something about a 7 and 11 being important numbers. What are we talking about here? Because I guess the dice emphasize those numbers, right?
Yes, 11 is a character in the show, number one. And the 7, there is a ton of stuff that's pointing to 7. Today is January 7th. They're thinking something's going to happen at 7 p.m. Eastern. But yes, there is a die I think it's the last scene in the corner that points to a 7. One of the first kids who goes missing in Stranger Things, he was missing for 7 days. L11 has to track the lightning, and there's 7 seconds in between. This all sounds crazy to someone who hasn't seen the show, but I'm trying to sum it up quickly. But yes, so many things point to 7, which is why everyone's freaking out today.
Okay, I'm going to bring Tim into the conversation. He's filling in today for Jeff Kaplan. You should see the look on his face. If you think I'm confused, at least I know a little bit about this.
Yeah, I know nothing. And what you just said confuses me to not really want to know more.
So is this like a creepy series? I was saying I think the reason I've never seen an episode is because the only time I catch any TV is maybe 30 minutes before bed. And so I've never caught a Stranger Things. So what is the draw to Stranger Things?
I think the draw is that it just really keeps you hooked because you don't know what's going on. You're always left with questions. And that's probably why people didn't like the finale, because I felt like it really did close the door. Pun, if you've seen it, of the finale in the show. But it's very intriguing, and it is spookier, and it gets darker as once you get to like season 3, season 4, I feel like it gets a lot darker. But I feel like every episode and every season ended with a question, and that is what just kept everyone hooked in, because it's abnormal. That's the best way I can explain it.
So do you really think something's going to happen at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight? Because Tim's going to be here. It'll be 5 o'clock our time.
We might have to break the news on the air.
Well, here's the thing. I am a Taylor Swift fan, and we thrive off of Easter eggs, rabbit holes, so I am totally here for this. And once I was doing a little bit more research before I jumped on the phone with you and saw what Netflix posted, I think I'm on board. But I think it's complicated because if they open this door again, it has to open a whole new season. So I don't know what it would bring, but they're not helping the situation by what's being put out online. I will just say that. So I don't know.
I'll tell you what's funny is how this has reached all levels of our society today. I have a friend who's a giant Bears fan, and they're playing the Packers in the playoffs this weekend. So he says, for you Stranger Things fans, the best way to describe this Bears-Packers playoff matchup is the Packers are Vecna, the evil empire trying to destroy the young kids that are the Bears. The Bears are trying to break away from the evil reign of Vecna and usher in a new era of freedom and peace.
All right, Caitlin.
And we're talking sports.
I know. Caitlin Johnston, thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon.